It's 8:30. Good morning. I'm in Crouch with Hunter News. Police say a Dungog woman stopped for speeding at Black Hill yesterday was travelling at almost twice the speed limit. It's alleged the 29-year-old was clocked travelling at 116 kilometres per hour in a 60-kilometre work zone on John Renshaw Drive. Checks revealed the woman was a disqualified driver. Police say there was also a 2-year-old child in the back seat. The woman's been refused bail to face Maitland Local Court today. A coal loader damaged in last Monday's intense storm could be out of action for weeks or even months. Winds gusting up to 146 kilometres per hour blew the coal loader off its rails at the NCIG terminal. The neighbouring Port Waratah Coal Services terminal was also impacted by the storm, with the loader shifting in the cyclonic winds. However, the company says there was minimal damage and there's been no disruption to coal loading activities. Newcastle Council is set to outline its 5-year climate action plan at tomorrow night's meeting. Council wants to achieve net zero emissions by 2030. The plan will see Council transition to a fleet of electric vehicles, increase renewable energy generation and battery storage, and switch all lighting to LED. Council's previous climate action plan has seen electricity usage fall by 21%, more than a third of streetlights switched to LED, and a 14% reduction in potable water usage. Information about living on and protecting the Port Stephens coast is being offered to the local community through a webinar this afternoon. The webinar will be available for online viewing from 5 o'clock with information on coastal inundation. Port Stephens Council's Janelle Gardner says it's important to keep residents aware of the hazards which come with living on the coast and give them the opportunity to ask questions.
Just explain to the community what these hazards look like, the process that we're going through to understand the impacts, and how we'll work with them over the next year to come up with some, ideas and plans and strategies on how we can mitigate the impacts of coastal erosion.
Another webinar on coastal erosion will be held on Wednesday from midday. The first shipment of grain from this year's bumper harvest of wheat in New South Wales is set to leave the Port of Newcastle this afternoon. The bulk carrier, loaded with 35,000 tonnes of wheat bound for Vietnam, is the first major grain export ship to leave Newcastle since 2018 due to the extended drought. It's expected up to 60 ships could deliver wheat to overseas markets between now and early next year. Frog populations at Kooragang Island have received a second chance after the prolonged drought devastated local wetlands and led to big declines for vulnerable species. Habitat restoration work by the National Parks and Wildlife Service and recent rainfall have helped the frogs thrive across the island. Bush Regeneration and Volunteering Officer Boyd Carney says the future of local frogs is looking extremely positive.
A lot of time and energy has been put into the frogs. Hopefully, we're working with the SOS to secure the population into the future. And the more partners we get on board, including volunteers, the brighter the future for these frogs is.
2NURFM Sport.
The Knights are hoping to sign Cowboys playmaker Jake Clifford on a 2-year deal. This comes just days after the Knights announced the signing of youngsters Bailey Hodgson and Jack Johns. Clifford would not join the club until 2022 unless the Cowboys release him early from their contract. In cricket, Belmont have jumped into second spot on the Newcastle district ladder. They beat Cardiff Boolaroo by an innings and 3 runs to claim full competition points. Elsewhere, University have lodged an appeal after a judiciary decision ruled in favour of a tied result in their match against Waratah last month. And Novocastrian Alex Wells has been named on the Baltimore Major League Baseball roster. The 23-year-old will return to the US for a training camp in February before the season starts in April. Wells says there's a decent chance he will play in the major leagues next year. That's Sport. I'm Harrison Clinch.
And the winning numbers in Weekend Lotto are 2, 37, 39, 21, 42 and 27, and the supplementaries are 7 and 11. 2NURFM News Time, 26 to 9.